YouTube Ozzy, in the Goat House is back. Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. Unexpected. Didn't really expect Russell Wilson to get traded in general, but for this to go down today, which was supposed to be kind of Aaron Rodgers Day, which he did make his decision, but pretty wild. Pretty wild here. We're going to break it down. I'm going to grade each team, explain why I graded each team the way I did. A little bit of a spoiler. I pretty much like it for both teams here. We'll do this for every big trade. We'll also grade each signing once free agency kicks off. We're going to break down the tags that were given out in our next video. Got to do an updated mock draft still. This changes everything. Our Twitter has all these updates as it happens. A lot of important stuff there. If you're not following our Twitter, you are missing out. Link down below. Check it out. Links down below for some other important videos too. A playlist full of free agency videos. So check it all out. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Much, much appreciated. Full coverage here. Full NFL coverage. So here's our Twitter. We predicted A.J. Klein, cut, Deshaun Hamilton. A lot of that's going on. We're talking numbers. We're talking a lot of stuff. Could other guys be traded from the Seahawks? We're talking everything. So join us there. All right, so the trade details, I was trying to wait actually until we got the specific picks. Hasn't really come out yet, but it doesn't really change much for my grade. So the Broncos are expected to get Russell Wilson, a fourth-round pick. I mean, they're going to get Russell Wilson. The fourth-round pick, kind of weird how that's involved. I wonder if there's something behind that. Certain thing has to happen or something. But they'll get Russell Wilson, fourth-round pick. Maybe because the Broncos threw in an extra player, so that's what happened there. That's definitely possible. So the Seahawks will get the Broncos' first-round pick this year, 9th overall. It's a pretty good pick there. Pretty good pick in the top 10. So Seahawks, who didn't have a first-round pick, not only get one, they get one in the top 10 there. They get another first-round pick. I'm going to assume it's 2023. But then the second-round picks would becomes interesting because you'd have to assume one is this year for sure. The Broncos have 2 second-round picks, so could they both be this year? Is it one this year, one next? That's definitely interesting and important factor here, I suppose. It doesn't really change my grade. 5th-round pick and then 3 players, Shelby Harris, Noah Fant, Drew Lock. Shelby Harris, pretty solid defensive tackle, important to the Broncos, pairing him with Poona Ford. That's a pretty good D-tackle group there for the Seahawks. Noah Fant's a solid tight end, solid young tight end with a bright future. So Seahawks that's kind of been a little, not really a mess, but it hasn't really been consistent at tight end position. It hasn't really been kept under control. Now they get a guy that I'm sure they'll pick up the next option, for the 5th-year option for him. They got a guy that's pretty much in place for them, an athletic tight end. So that, I think that's pretty big there. I think people don't realize how big Noah Fant is. Everyone looks at the 2 first-round picks. Noah Fant's a pretty big piece here too. So, again, unexpected. The Seahawks, I thought were going to stay in win-now mode, keep Russell Wilson, try to spend their good amount of cap space to again, be an actual contender. So that's what I thought they would do. But they go this route, and they could add a quarterback in many different ways now, so we'll see what they do there. But, to grade, we'll grade the trade now. We'll grade each team. The Seahawks, I gave an A. I like this for the Seattle Seahawks because, like I said, I thought they were going to stay in win-now mode, keep Russell Wilson, use that cap space to add players to be able to contend. And that's okay. I've been saying that. It's okay to do that as long as you actually make yourselves be able to contend. They would have to go out and do a lot. They had a lot of cap space. So it looks like they kind of face reality here. Maybe they weren't able to, which is a good thing. They weren't able to make themselves a contender. So sometimes there's such a thing as too much confidence. Let's say they keep Russell Wilson. They go into free agency. Free agency is kind of a mystery. You get outbid for some guys. So there's a shot that you kept Russell Wilson, declined taking this haul in return from him so you can build a win-now team. But it was unlikely to happen. I say it was on the unlikely side for them to actually build a top-dog contender. So get the haul while you can. So I love that. I love it. They weren't in denial or anything about it, so I like that. And they got a pretty good amount of picks, against first glance. I know people thought, would they get 3 first-round picks? They didn't get 3 first-round picks, but they got 2, including pick number 9. They got 2 second-round picks. Noah Fant, again, that's a big piece there. What would his value be if he were to be traded straight up? probably, a second-round pick, maybe third, but that's pretty good value in return there, and they got some other key players as well. So overall, I like this for the Seattle Seahawks. And then keep in mind, Wilson was hurt last year. He didn't play his best ball. So just kind of looking out for the future here. And I talked about it on Twitter, I called this the safer route because the non-safer route would have been keep Russell Wilson, decline the haul, and then do what? Maybe make the playoffs. It's maybe make the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game. What's really their limit? And then for the next couple years, because he's under contract for 2 more years. And then Bobby Wagner, we talked about that. He's now a trade candidate perhaps, but he's got 1 year left. Your team's going to get worse, obviously, is what I'm getting to. So what were you really able to do? So passing up on the haul was more of the gamble, really, in my opinion, for the Seattle Seahawks. So I like this. Again, Noah Fant's a bigger piece than what people were talking about here. They're kind of set with their tight end, it looks like. They're, again, kind of been all over the place, scrambling, trying to find the right guy, I suppose. But they got that guy now, that athletic option. They got pick 9. We'll see what they do with that. So I like it for the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, they get worse, but they got a haul. They get worse today. They got a haul in return. I'm curious to see what they do with it. For the Broncos, there are some negatives here. I graded an A-, very high grade there for the Denver Broncos. I mean, the negatives are when you make a trade like this, when you trade a haul, whenever your teams do it all the time, whenever you do it, it's pretty much the trade's not good unless you win a Super Bowl. The Broncos didn't just make this trade to make the playoffs and win a game or two. They made this trade to contend, to go win a Super Bowl. So it is a pretty big gamble putting that all out there, and then so they gotta go win a Super Bowl for this trade to work out, really. Similar to the Rams last year, and they actually went and won it. So it ends up being with Stafford, ends up being an A+ deal. I think, first glance, people maybe looked. They didn't give up 3 first-round picks, but they gave up 2 first-round picks, including pick 9. Noah Fant's pretty valuable to them. I don't think they really wanted to trade him. Shelby Harris is a leader on that team, big piece of that team. 2 second-round picks to go along with that. Would be curious to see if it's 2 this year or for the second-round picks, or 1 this year, 1 next year. So those are the things. It's a little bit of a gamble because, for this trade to work out, you got to win a Super Bowl or, be around that range, make yourself a team that, has a good shot to win a Super Bowl every year, to be determined. Another thing is, Russell Wilson's going to have to be healthier and better than he was last year for this trade to be okay. So it is, again, big time risk there because of that. Because what if he's not the same after that injury? He didn't play that great last year after that. So it is a major risk. So those are the negatives. So then why did you grade it an A-, Stu? Why did you still give it a good grade if there are those negatives? Maybe those negatives bump it down from an A to an A-, but not enough there to overtake the positives, in my opinion. Because what really was their other options with the quarterback position? Draft a guy. Doesn't really make much sense because they're trying to win right now. Re-sign Teddy Bridgewater. They want to get better from that. There's really not too many other realistic options. I know you traded a lot. They traded a lot for him, but that pick 9, I guess, could have been used for that rookie quarterback that doesn't really work for them, like we said. And I liked it, because they had an extra second-round pick this year, that makes it so they still will be picking. Well, if they traded both this year, they'll still be picking in the second round next year. If they traded 1 second round this year, 1 next year, they'll still be picking in the second round this year. So either way, it's not like they're even missing out on their first 2 picks for both years. So that's kind of a positive here. And moving on from Noah Fant, it's tough. They do have Albert O at least, but I like that they held on to their receivers too. So they still got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, of course. So they hang on to the receivers for Russell Wilson, and they're able to compete. I also like that they have their offensive line in place. So a little bit different for Russell Wilson, a better offensive line. They got that in place, so they were able to be confident for a reason that Russell Wilson would work out for them. So overall, those positives kind of overtake the negatives there. Maybe why you bump it down to A- is because it is a massive, massive gamble that it could blow up in their face. But that kind of goes in any of these big trades. But Broncos got better. Can't wait to watch them play. A long ways away till that. Can't wait to see what the Seattle Seahawks do. So those are my thoughts, my grades for the big Russell Wilson trade. And I'm sure some more big moves will go down. We have you covered as it happens on Twitter. We'll have you covered on here as well. A lot going on. It's a busy time of the year. It's a fun time of the year. It's why NFL is never actually over. Offseason is just absolute madness. So join us for everything. I'll be much appreciated. Check out those links pinned in the comments, some important ones down there, Twitter, and then recent videos. Put some playlists down there. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.